Welcome to Sakshi TV's special immigration show with attorney Bhanu Babu Illindra from BBI Law Group. Please note that Sakshi TV now has three immigration shows every week. On Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. EST with attorney Ms. Prashanti Reddy in English, on Thursday at 5:30 p.m. EST with attorney Chand Parvatnini, and on Friday at 6 p.m. EST with attorney Bhanu Babu Illindra. Please tune in to ask your questions. If you're an immigration attorney and would like to join our special shows, please email us at usa@sakshi.com or call 866-725-7441. Before we begin the show, please note that the information provided on this show is not a legal advice and is for general informational purposes only. Sakshi TV or its agents will not be responsible for use of information. If you need specific legal advice, please contact the attorney directly. Mr. Bhanu Babu Illindra is with us today, and welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
And looks like we have a lot to discuss today.
Yes.
We have the retrogression, the consulate updates, and a lot more. So, what would you like to start off with, sir?
I mean, we can start with the retrogression because everybody is everybody is disappointed who have not received their green cards yet, and too much confusion is going on, frustration is going on among the immigrant community in the US, especially our Indian community. And so I think it's a good idea to start with them. That's why I thought we will discuss about that issue right now. And USCIS did release the FAQs recently on its website and clearly mentioned that they already adjudicated or utilized 263,000 visas approximately in the available 290,000 visas in an employment-based category for fiscal year 2022, and they're very confident that they are going to utilize the entire 290,000 visa numbers in the employment-based category for fiscal year 2022, and also they came out and updated saying that for the fiscal year 2023 there are 200,000 visas will be available, in employment-based category. That means there is a spillover of 60,000 family-based category unused visas in fiscal year 2022 has been spilled out employment-based category, though there will be 200,000 visas available. So it's not like, what I want to tell people is don't get disappointed, don't get frustrated. It is not as bad as we all think. Yes, there are 90,000 visas less available, but if you look into the overall percentage of things with the per country limitations to Indian nationals, I think we still have a good opportunity. Probably they will look into that. But what confusing me is that USC is actually retrogressing EB2 for 2.5 years. I did not anticipate that. I did not expect that. There's a reason for that, because there was a stereotypical explanation from the USCI saying that there is a shortage for EB2 category for all these months, and suddenly now it went 2.5 years backwards. If there was a shortage, how it went backwards, we are not much aware of that, So I was a little bit disappointed there.
Yeah, right. Bhanu Garu, we have a caller waiting for us. Do you want to address the caller first?
Sure, please. I'm very happy to address the call.
Hi, welcome to the show. Can you tell us your name and where you're from?
Yes, hi, I'm Naira and I'm calling from Mumbai. I would like to visit US and I would like to visit it on the B1 visa. Can you kindly tell me what is the process for that?
The B1 visa, the process is that you need to schedule an appointment with the US consulates and you fill in your DS-160 form, non-immigrant visa, and provide requisite documents for you to show you're eligible for B1, B2, tourist visa or a visitor visa to the US to visit US for tourist purposes, vacational purposes, or if you're coming for a business purposes, that you have to show what business needs, what is the purpose for that you're coming and everything. But unfortunately, right now, there are no appointments available for B1, B2 visas. I think that is one of the topics which we're going to talk today, but we already jumped into it with your call. Recently, I had an opportunity to discuss with the would-be Consul General, Jennifer Larson. She's going to be the next Consul General in Hyderabad Consulate, and we had an opportunity to meet with her in person in Washington, D.C. here. And she told me that the consulates as of now are not fully functional. That means what they said is they're not into the full capacity of workforce, what they used to be prior to the pre-pandemic levels. Therefore, there's still a lot of backlog and delay in adjudicating the visa applications at the consulates. And because of that, they've given the least priority for the B1, B2 tourist visas appointments. Their most important and the highest criteria and importance is that students not missing the ability or not being able to come to the US and study in the US and pursue their education and contribute their brains and their talent and everything to the US economy and also the Indian economy, or accordingly to worldwide economy. So their highest priority they've given is for the F1 visas in the visa slot appointment availabilities or visa appointment availabilities in this coming month, in these months right now. And then to the specialized workers, basically who are L1 workers, L1B workers, who are intended to come to US as intercompany transfers for their employers, so that those employers cannot suffer because of the lack of that personal's availability. So specialized workers and then specialty occupations, H1B visa holders. After that, the lowest priority is the fourth and lowest priority is the visitor visas and other types of visas. But there's one hope though, beam of hope though here. As per her, what she said is, now the consulates in India are in full force recruiting these individuals so that their office can come into full effect and full force work capability, and so that they can adjudicate these applications and also carry out other functions as well, other consular functions also. So as per her, she is basically expecting around 6 to 9 months, where the whole backlog, whole inconvenience with the slot availability, visa availability, those things will be taken care of. After 9 months, I think everybody should be able to book appointments within 2-3 weeks.
That's actually quite a lot of time.
I'm sorry?
That's quite a lot of time for...
Yes, but they have to recruit the people. They do not have enough funding from the Congress because this Department of State is slowly funded by the Congress. And of course, they get some money from the fees and everything, but that money is not enough in order to hire the personnel, run the operations and everything. So she said 6 to 9 months.
Right. But why is it that only B1, B2 visas are affected? They're impacted. They're not...
because they're meant for the tourism purposes, vacational purposes, tourism purposes. So that's why the least priority is for them. Of course, US government, US tourism industry is losing a lot of money because they're not issuing these tourist visas, because there's a lot of economic factors are involved with the tourist visas. A lot of people come to US to spend their money, right? That's why they're coming, they're touring, they're vacationing in the US. They're losing a lot of money in that way, but point is, because of the lack of personal available people, their ability to adjudicate visas, their priorities are given to these students, specialized workers, and specialty occupation H1B visas. These people, because these are very important and needed individuals to be coming to the US, therefore they're giving highest priority to those visa availables, those visa people. If anything is available beyond those visas, then they're allotting the slots to the visitor visas. But they said that they're very hopeful that within the next 2, 6, 9 months, everything is going to sort out and all the visa dates availability will become current, so that everybody will be able to apply for visas and everything. And also one more thing she said is, see, you always can apply for an emergency visa if you want to travel to US. If you have any emergency reason for medical purposes or any other compelling circumstances, you can always apply for a visa under the emergency category and then come to US. That's what they said. But they said that if somebody wants to come here because somebody's wedding is happening, or somebody is graduating from school, or because they just want to come here because they have a lot of money and spend here, those are the people they said that they cannot afford right now because of the lack of workforce availability. And one more important thing she informed is about the Hyderabad Consulate. Hyderabad Consulate, the new building which is going to start in Gachibowli, is going to have 55 visa counters. That means there are 55 officers instantly adjudicating your visa applications. That means you can imagine how many applications backlogs in Hyderabad consulates can be really completed, because all these officers are actually interviewing these counters. So there are going to be 55 counters, non-immigrant visa count or immigrant visa counters in Hyderabad consulate. So that's a very good news for people from these 3 states, Telangana, Andhra and Odisha.
Right. I think that's going to put a mini fast track on Hyderabad.
Yes, it's
These
going to
them
be very fast
Hyderabad
talking about.
Consulate.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's going to be. The only issue is right now is because of the pandemic. I think it disturbed a lot these consulates, their workforce and everything, and they're trying to come back to the pre-pandemic levels with full workforce. And if they do that, I think we will see reduction in all this slot availability and everything at the consulates.
Right. So what that you were telling us about the retrogression as well.
Retrogression, yes, and we were talking about the available. I mean, I did not expect that for EB2 category that it's going to go back 2.5 years. I anticipated that it may still be there, or maybe after a couple of months it may retrogress few months or something like that, but did not anticipate 2.5 years retrogressing for the EB2 category. And that was shocking to me. I think we need to have. The only issue is right now. Hello.
Sorry for the disturbance, Bhanu Garu. We have a caller, so I think that was the disturbance.
Sure. I mean,
Do
we
you
can
want
answer
to
the
go
call.
for- Right. Okay. 1 second. Hi. You can tell us your name and where you're from. Hello. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hi. Can you hear me?
I think the individual actually muted, I believe.
Right. I think they're not unmuted.
That's okay. I mean, we can continue
I
with
think we can go on. Yeah.
we can continue with our conversation. And so that was surprising to me to see 2.5 years backlog retrogression for the EB2 category. But I'm hopeful because now 200,000 visas are available for the employment-based category. And also many EB2 category applications, petitions have been already adjudicated. And there are many of them in EB3 category, which are basically redundant. They're duplicate EB3 category applications.
Right.
I'm assuming that all those applications will be taken off so that in that way, they'll have more numbers available, which probably will be able to allocate to the EB3 and EB2 as well. And hopefully these dates will move forward in the coming months. But there's a caveat though. Somewhere the Department of State official to the USA said that they may actually run out of the EB2 numbers by December itself in the coming fiscal year, which is also a caveat for me on what basis they are saying that and everything. We do not have complete data or complete statistics on that. Hopefully we will hear soon from the Department of State officials on why EB2 has been went back to 2.5 years when until recent months it's still they're saying that there's a shortage in EB2 immigrant visa petitions. So that is what they're with retrogression. So my point is to all the people: don't lose your hope, don't get frustrated. You all have a 485 file already. You have EADs and advance parole available. You're authorized to work as long as you have a proper EAD. You're authorized to travel as long as you have a valid advance parole in your hand. So there is no restrictions for you. You can work, you can do business, you can do work, you can do everything while you are complying with your 485 filing and everything. So not to get frustrated, just be patient. I'm sure we will see some movement, some kind of a changes in the next 4 or 5 months in the visa bulletin and other cases.
Right. So I think then that's a good news.
Yeah.
But so we also have the final rule publication that you wanted to talk to.
Yeah, that's about the public charge. Grounds of inadmissibility and the public charge. We all know in 2019, Trump government created a stir by passing a regulations on the public charge grounds in inadmissibility, which was very, very beyond the requirements of the statute permissibility, and that caused a lot of stir in the immigrant community. A lot of people are worried that they will be denied their green cards because one way or another they may say that they may be possible to become a public charge in the US once they get the green card and everything. So by God, fortunately, those regulations have been litigated in the court, and the court vacated that rule, and they have to basically revoke those regulations. USCIS, Department of State. Now they passed the regulations in conjunction with the legacy memo, which has been pending on the public charge grounds rules, and accordingly they stated that there are a lot of factors they looked into it, and they said that it's not everybody will be subject to the grounds of public chargeability. And also clearly given information in that saying that if any of your family members receive any government benefits or public benefits, as an individual, if you're applying for a green card, you will not be inadmissible. That means you will still be eligible to obtain green card in the US. Okay, and those are the things. There are a lot of other programs they listed in them: SNAP, housing benefits, medical benefits. If somebody gets any immunization benefits who are non-citizens in the US, previously during the Trump government, the regulations they passed, they all may be subject to the inadmissibility because they may possibly become a public charge in the US. But now all those things have been taken off. So it's a very good news. A lot of people are worried, especially I know some children who needs help from the government because they born with some kind of a disability or anything like that, like ADHD or autism or some kind of a vision disability or some other disability and everything. They need help from the government. They get the benefits for that. State automatically provides the benefits for them. School automatically provides benefits for them. But for those reasons, they cannot deny somebody's green card because those are not the grounds for inadmissibility. They are not really restrictions that will not likely to make you become a public charge or anything like that. But of course, if somebody receives a long-term care, hospitalization care or anything like that, and from the government, then probably yes, that individual may be subject to the grounds of inadmissibility, may not be eligible for the green card. For example, somebody has been subject to institutionalized for the mental care, for a depression or anything like that for a longer period of time, which is longer period of time means usually more than 1 year, or at least 6 months to 1 year. That's what it means. Long-term care means, So for those people, probably they may be ineligible to become green card holders in this country, permanent residents in this country, but other people is not. So it's a good news. We were all worried exactly what the USA is going to do with these regulations because they said that they're going to again pass these regulations. So we were worried, but now we know that what USA has passed. So it's a good news for everybody. So very happy with it.
Well, then that's great. I mean, we do have a couple of good news, on the show today, which puts everybody in a great mood. So, were there any other updates you wanted to discuss, Bhanugaru?
These are the main updates I want to discuss to everybody. And also, most important thing I want to discuss is about the consulate updates, which we were talking, right? We discussed about the tourist visas and everything. And we had an opportunity to talk to the would-be consulate general about the H-1B visa applications also at the consulates.
Right.
We all know that the USCIS does not require the employers to provide end-client letters or end-client agreements or purchase orders to show the availability of the job to the specialty occupation worker in the US in a position which they're offering. However, consulates in India demanding those documents, especially when the employee works at the third-party client side, consulates in India actually demanding those documents. They're basically asking for end-client letters, end-client agreements, and all these things. So I particularly raised this question along with distinguished other members who were in that meeting that day, and the would-be consul general said that it's probably because of the mistake or a confusion by the Department of State or the consular officers demanding those documents. In reality, they should not demand those documents. There cannot be inconsistent policy along with the USCIS. The policy has to remain same what USCIS has in pertaining to what documents can be requested, what documents cannot be demanded for the purpose of showing employer-employee relationship, for purpose of showing bona fide job offer for the H-1B purposes. That's a very important information because we know that hundreds of people are stuck in consulates with the 221Gs because of this issue, because of this end-client letter requirement and everything. My advice is, because of this, it's important, all these individuals, what we advise them is, make sure that you write a letter to the consulate officer along with your documents when you're submitting to the Dropbox, why you're not required to, if you're submitting to Dropbox or if you're going in person also, when you're submitting documents, make sure that you submit a cover letter explaining why you're not required to submit these end-client letters or end-client agreements and purchase orders, because that is inconsistent with the USA's policy pertaining to the availability of the job offer or pertaining specialty occupations like employer-employee relationship or anything like that. And it's very important to write those letters and everything to them. And the Consul General also recommended to submit such a kind of a letter to the consulate officer so that they can take it to the second level officer review and approve their visas and everything. So it's important. If anybody has any questions pertaining to that, they're welcome to reach our office. We are very happy to guide them on how to address these issues with the consulates in India, and especially in Hyderabad consulate or Chennai consulate, Delhi consulate, Mumbai consulate, and Kolkata consulate, wherever it is. We are very happy to help them and guide them on how to prepare the documentation and how to submit the documentation for the consular interview and all those things.
Bhanu, could you please also tell them how they can quickly reach you?
Yeah, thank you. They can reach me either visiting our company's website, which is www.bbilawgroup.com, or they can reach on my email also, bhanu@bbilawgroup.com, or they can reach on our office phone number, which is 703-496-7722, or on my mobile number 319-400-0053. But make sure that when they reach through this, let them know that they're calling because they were the viewers of Sakshi TV show. In that way, we know who they are and everything. We'll be able to take care of them immediately, and probably we'll give them some discount also, should they use our services.
Definitely, that's very generous of you, Bhanu Garu. So if we are done with the updates, can we move on to H1B FAQs?
Yes, please.
Sure. So we have a couple of FAQs, and I'm going to read out them to you. Excuse my voice. I have a throat infection.
No, I completely understand. Yeah.
So, Bhanu Garu, what steps should an employer take if they want to convert an H1B employee from full-time to part-time status?
It is absolutely fine. They have to file an amendment. If they're going to work for the same employer has to file an amendment from full-time to part-time. H1B can be either full-time or a part-time. It does not matter. The requirement for the H1B is that whether the position qualifies as a specialty occupation and the beneficiary for whom they intend to hire actually qualifies for that position or not. And H1B can be either full-time or a part-time. But if somebody wants to convert from full-time to part-time, the employer, if it's the same employer, they have to file an amendment because it's a material change in the offer of employment.
Right. Bhanu Garu, and one last question for our show tonight. So if a person is on L1 visa and the H1 visa got approved, will the USCIS cancel their L1 status once H1B is approved?
It depends. If the H1B is approved with the change of status in the US from L1 to H1B, the day the change of status comes into effect, automatically the individual loses L1 status. Because from the day the change of status comes into effect, he is on H1B status in this country. Okay? If the H1B is not approved with the change of status, but it's only approved for the consular notification, then his L1 status is not, he won't lose his L1 status. He's still on L1 status in this country. Only the way he can get back onto H1B is that he has to go to the consulate abroad, get a visa stamped, and then come back to the US on H1B visa.
Right. So with that information, Bhanu Garu, we come to the end of the show. And as always, it's really a privilege hosting you. Thank you for being on our show, Bhanu Garu.
Thank you. Same here. It's a privilege for me to be on the show. And thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sakshi TV, and you all are doing an amazing job. You all have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.
You too, Bhanu Garu.
Hope to see you next week.
Same here.
Thank you. Bye.
You're watching Sakshi TV Live, and this is Tolni. Thank you.